Training hard is ruining you at this stage, and it's making you more injured and it's making you ill. And this is where colds come from. This is where niggling injuries come from. And I'm going to tell you why in this video. My name is Andy Kidd. I'm a sports massage therapist based in Taunton, and I fix injuries basically, as you you'd probably expect from me. But I've also been an athlete for nigh on 35 years. Ever since I was just before teenage years, I've been training as an athlete all the way through school, and I've been an athlete, pretty much a competing athlete, consistently training since the age of 33, and I'm still training now. And the one thing I've noticed while in training is you go through experiences, you go through the mistakes you make, and you do make mistakes, and you understand where the mistakes are coming from and how to perform at your best. And one of the things that I've noticed in today's society, particularly with the rise of formerly CrossFit and now High Rocks, is the need to train hard. Training hard is not beneficial to you in the long run. And what do I mean by train hard? Because that can be mistaken for you. I'm purely thinking about training hard on the rate of perceived exertion. That is the degree to where you push yourself in a single session. And the rate of perceived exertion apparently goes from between 6 and 20 or 1 to 10, whichever way measuring device you use. But if you're going above a certain point in the rate of perceived exertion consistently, you are going to, this is short-term thinking in terms of training, it's short-term, and this is going to lead to injury. It's going to lead to you having a kind of a yo-yo training system where you go training hard, you go it all in, you get injured, you have to have a bit of rehab, and then you get back into it again, and then you get injured again, and you have to get back into it. I've been through this as an athlete, and I've trained hard as an athlete. Really horrible training sessions. And I know what happens to the body when you do those training sessions as well. So when you go through that boom and bust kind of training, your body goes through that boom and bust. It goes through peak fitness to injury, peak fitness to injury. And that's not sustainable, okay? That's not something that you should have in your training. And there has to be more intelligence in your training. Now, if we look at the things like CrossFit and High Rocks, I have great respect for the community that has in terms of bringing people together to train hard, as it were, to focus on a goal, whether it's losing weight, whether it's getting stronger, whatever it is, to build muscle. Whatever the case is, that I love that community aspect of encouraging each other. I love that aspect of maybe pushing people beyond their limits in that respect, getting people to focus down and towards a goal, and that's always great. What I'm not a fan of in these particular forms is the boom and bust training, and the fact that they push the bodies beyond what they're capable of and what they can recover from. When you're going to a rate of perceived exertion of nearly 10 or just above 7 or 7 above, you will get injured at some point. That is a given. You do not have the recovery capacity to recover from that, okay? And you will not stay injury-free. You can do all the core work in stretching and foam rolling and all that jazz all you want. The body works on a nervous system, and when you hit that nervous system so much repeatedly throughout the week without the proper recovery, no amount of stretching, no amount of foam rolling, no amount of cold ice baths, none of that stuff will work. You will still get injured because you're pushing your body above what it's capable of. Now you might think to me, well, Andy, look at Cristiano Ronaldo. Look at how he's 40 now and he's able to push himself hard in training. It looks like he's done it all his life. Well, with respect, are you going to eat like Cristiano Ronaldo? Are you going to pay a chef to cook your meals like Cristiano Ronaldo? Are you going to have your own personal trainer at your beck and call like Cristiano Ronaldo? I don't know, but likely that's not the case. And that's a massive thing because he's hugely disciplined, not just in his training, but in the way he eats as well. And his lifestyle is catered towards that focus for his body. And he doesn't have to commit himself to other aspects of life that we'd have to commit to. And he's got the money to back himself up. So please don't use Cristiano Ronaldo as an example of, oh, I can do what he does. You can't. You cannot do that unless you're minted. Are you a millionaire who's paying a chef? Unless you are, don't try it. Okay? There needs to be more intelligence into the way you're training. There has to be less boom and bust. In some ways, athletes are great in terms of actually inspiring us to get going and stuff like that. But there is also a kind of balancing act there as well, because athletes make the same mistakes as all of us, really, in the same respects. And we talk about the professionals as well, in the fact that they push their bodies beyond what their body can handle. And they don't care about their performance in even 2 years' time, 3 years' time. They care about the performance right now. They want everything right now. They want fitness right now. And they will push their bodies to extreme to get that fitness, that peak fitness right now. They're not building long term, really, if you think about it. I mean, the way they train, they might say some Olympians are training in 4-year cycles. They're pushing their body still day to day in that factor, and they're still pushing their body in that boom or bust way, thinking that's the only way to go forward. That's the only way to compete. And that's that problem in society right now. We've guilt-tripped ourselves into thinking, right, we have to train hard. It's no use training unless you're training to a 10 on the rate of perceived exertion, or 8 or 9, or something high up like that. And that's just not true. That's just not true. You should not be pushing your body above a 7 in the rate of perceived exertion pretty much ever. If you want to be training consistently, which is what you should be doing, you cannot do that. Your body cannot handle it. In terms of, you won't be getting enough sleep. A lot of you have kids to look after. A lot of you have jobs to go to. That's burning the candle. That's a stress on the body as well. Training hard is a stress on the body, and everything else, in terms of work, in terms of family, in terms of is a stress on the body. You're burning the candle at both ends, and at some point your body will buckle because of it. That's something that we do not see in us, do not understand. Mainly, even the professional athletes out there don't understand it. You've got to be, in terms for us as general individuals who are looking for certain goals, it's going to take a while to get them. And we have to think about that. We have to think about less than what we want in the next couple of months and more what we want in 2 to 3 years, and target our goals towards 2 to 3 years. Challenging things that you want to do in 2 to 3 years, maybe 5 years, but you've got to think that long term. That gives you time to build your training towards it. It's what you do over the months and years that's good for your body, not what you do over your days and weeks. And we consider nowadays, because of the training hard philosophy, we think only in that training session. We think we've got to get everything out of it. I cannot leave no stone unturned in my training. No, that's not the way to think about it. The point of training each day is to edge your fitness up gradually, so that in a way that your body can handle and the body can recover from. That's what you need to do. You need to set targets way down in 2 to 3 years. Where do I want to be in 2 to 3 years? What do I want to have in 2 to 3 years? And then work towards that gradually. And that may mean for a lot of people just short training sessions to get up there. When you hit a mark in the gym, when you hit a benchmark in the gym that you've never done before, maybe it's a weight you've done, maybe it's, a core hold you've never done. You shouldn't be going above that at all. You shouldn't go, right, let's lift more weight after that. No, stop, and just stop your training session, leave it there. You've pushed your body above what it used to be able to do. You've already got stronger. Leave it there, move on, quit the training session. What's wrong with doing that? But I haven't trained hard enough, Andy. No, that's not the point. It's to edge your fitness up gradually to do that. Whatever it is, when you're training or running and stuff like that, it's not about pushing yourself. Are you recovering from that training session? Never push yourself above a 7. You haven't got the recovery capacity to do that. And this is something that I want you to do. So that's the best way to edge your fitness up gradually. What is that? It may be a short training session. You should be coming out of a training session. Maybe you've trained, you felt like you've trained, but you should never be hobbling out where the next day you can't move or you can't sleep. That's the other thing as well. When you train hard, that a lot of people don't understand is when you train hard, it's a stress on the system. Your immune system is suppressed as well. And you need the sleep to recover from it. But a lot of the time, heavy training will affect your sleep. It did for me. Heavy training really affected my sleep. And so I trained hard, affected my sleep. I didn't get the greatest night's sleep. And then, you're getting up the next day tired and you're not recovered. And then what I used to do was train hard on. I used to say, right, I have to keep on training kind of thing. I can't take a day off. That's not going to help me. Probably did need a day off. And this is the thing we don't understand. It's that we've got to understand the downsides of training hard are quite significant, and especially for long-term goals. Training hard is not conducive for long-term goals. You will boom and bust training. It is basically boom and bust training. And the other thing I just wanted to ask you about, why are you training hard? Is there such a lack of trust in your training that you have to push yourself beyond what, so hard that you're not going to get improvements? Is it kind of so much that unless you go to 8 or 9 or 10 on the rate of perceived exertion, that all training below that is useless? And is that what you think? Because if that's what you think, that you've got to get rid of that completely. That training that 6 or 7 is the best training you can have for long-term goals. That training, 6 or 7, nothing above that. That is actually the beneficial. And even below that is beneficial in terms of your fitness, in terms of your strength and stuff like that. You can't continue to train above 8 or 8 and above. Please understand that. Please be intelligent in your training of what you're capable of at the moment. I see too much boom and bust training. It's got to be more intelligence to it. Otherwise, you will start to suffer mental problems. You'll start to suffer injuries, which will just bring you back down again, and you'll make no progress. And this is what really, this is another thing that really demotivates people, is the fact when they've trained hard, they get injured. And they've put all that effort in for training out in the sessions, and then they get injured. What does that do to the mental state? It just says, damn, I've trained hard, this is what's happened to me, why bother? And this is what puts people off. This boom and bust training actually demotivates people, because once they get injured, once they get ill, once they see that their performances are just not improving because unknowingly to them they're pushing themselves too hard in the training sessions, they just think, well, I've put all the effort in and I've got nothing out of it. And it's a massive, massive thing. So this is the video's gone on longer than it should have, but there's so much I wanted to cover in this. And it's something that I want you to understand, in the fact that training in a 6 or no higher than a 7 and maybe a 5 or 6 on the rate of perceived exertion is still a benefit to you. And that's the range for most people who have got jobs, who've got family, who've got other commitments, should be training in, really. Edge your fitness up in training. If you lift a weight that you've never done before, quit your training session. Move on to another exercise. Move on to the another exercise and see what you can do there. But don't go above again. Don't train your body in a way that it can't recover from. Okay, love lecturing. See you in the next video.